Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for our webinar, Spark New Interest with Video Blogging. My name is Jill, and with me today doing the presentation is Derek Overby, and he is our Senior Social Media Manager here at Vertical Response, and he's going to take us through the webinar. Just a couple of things before we get started. First of all, this webinar is about, how long would you say, 30, 40 minutes?
Yeah, about 30 minutes.
And there will be time at the end for Q&A. So if you think of questions along the way, and hopefully you will, go ahead and type those into the box that you see in the GoToWebinar window, and we'll be happy to answer as many of those as we can at the end of the webinar. Just to answer the question, I'm sure that's running through everyone's mind right now, which is this being recorded? Everyone asks that question. The answer is yes, it is being recorded. We will have this up on our webinars page on our resources site. If you haven't been there recently, we've kind of remade it and it's much easier to find things. To get there, just go to verticalresponse.com and click on resources and you'll see guides and recorded webinars there. So that'll be up next week. So with that, I'm going to hand this over to Derek.
Thank you, Jill.
You're welcome.
This is always good to spend a Wednesday morning with you.
I know.
So.
Derek and I sit next to each other.
So,
we spend every morning together.
So we're going to talk about video blogging. A lot of people are somewhat intimidated by video. It's just in its nature of having yourself in front of a camera. Mm-hmm. We're going to hopefully share a lot of great information and make it a little less scary. If I could get my slide to go, I would. Jill just got a new computer.
I just got a new computer. I don't know how it works. It seems like my computer just froze.
Uh-oh. That's never good.
No, it's not. Okay, hold on, everybody.
Is my headset on?
Yeah. Oh, there we go. Okay.
There we go. Go back one. There we go.
Okay. Let me
I will talk up more. I'm sorry if I was not as loud as I should be. So we got a packed full agenda for you. We're going to talk about just some stats about video itself. Why is it so popular, or is it popular? Kind of get down to the nuts and bolts of what is video blogging, who can start one. We're going to give you some inspiration on some blogs, some video blogs, or some vlogs as we call them, that I have followed over the years. We're going to then roll into getting you started. We're going to talk about equipment. We're going to talk about some tips that you can think about. And then we're going to talk about where you can put these videos. Jill has some experience in that, so hopefully she'll jump in there and share some information from her perspective. And then we're also going to talk about screencasts. This is kind of what we're doing right now. So, we're recording this webinar, and Jill is actually using one of the pieces of software that I am actually going to mention in here. So is video really popular? I just got some really hard and fast stats for you. As you can see, the first stat, by 2016, 110 million Americans, or 1/3 of the population, is going to be watching video content on a mobile phone. I mean, that's just amazing. So this is going from just what you guys are doing right now and watching it on your computer and mobile, whether we're talking about an iPhone, an Android device, an iPad. Video is really kind of permeating its way through every fiber of America. So it is getting very popular, and it's getting actually even more popular as we go along. According to Google, 75% of the U.S. smartphone owners watch video on their smartphones right now, and 26% do it every day. I have to admit, I'm probably in that 26%. Cisco expects video to account for 57% of consumer internet traffic by 2015. That is absolutely amazing. So video is really driving, the whole social web is really kind of driving the video proliferation through the internet. But what's also doing that is that it's much easier to do nowadays. These people walking around with their handheld video recorders, just recording anything that they see and putting that up on YouTube or Vidler or Vimeo, makes it very easy to get to.
Yeah, I'd say that on my Facebook feed, I see an awful lot of videos, and some are just being shared by people, and some are the ones that they've done themselves. So video is definitely something that I think people are even starting to expect to see in their feeds on social media.
And even if we're looking at like Jill's new computer here, I mean, it's a MacBook Pro, but it's got a webcam built right into it, so she can record herself anywhere. And then finally, Marketing Profs reports that 52% of senior marketing executives are using video content in their email campaigns. I thought that was really interesting because, we're obviously going there as a company. We're bringing social and we're meeting email. But now you can start to really think about, hey, leveraging this video content that you're going to be making and sharing that in a newsletter. It's much easier to do that nowadays than it has been in the past. And this is this just came out. This is the June 2012 statistics that ComScore puts out. And these are just incredible numbers. And I'm just going to talk about the top line, which is the total internet and total audience. So the total unique viewers that are watching videos is 180 million. But the number next to it is the one that blows me away. Almost 33 billion, that's with a B, videos have been watched just in 1 month. I mean, that's absolutely insane. And so this is all, those kids that get addicted to YouTube, this is what's happening. But look at the minutes per viewer, 1,238.1 minutes per viewer per month. That's just mind-boggling. So people are watching video. So what is video blogging? If you go to Wikipedia and look up the actual definition, it talks about, people are familiar with what a blog is. That's text written about some kind of topic, whether that's your business, food, could be about nature, it could be about anything. All we're doing is we're introducing video into that. So it's a kind of a mixture of video with the written word to tell a story. And that can be you on camera, that can be you interviewing someone, that could be you just behind the camera talking about something. Real estate agents are notorious for this. They can go around and videotape their neighborhood. They could actually do a walkthrough through a house. There's a lot of ways that you can leverage video within a video blog. So who can start a vlog? And it is vlog, it's not vlog. A lot of people kind of mix that up. So it is a vlog, and you are vlogging. I know it sounds funny, Jill, but it is true.
It sounds like something out of Star Wars or something.
I'm going to vlog.
The vlogs are attacking.
Exactly. So, really anybody can start a vlog, and it can be about any kind of subject matter. We're talking about it really from a small business standpoint because that's obviously our target market. And so that can be an individual business talking about, let's say, a restaurant. They want to talk about their restaurant. And maybe they want to talk about what they're making in the kitchen. I have a friend, Justin Levy, who works at GoToMeeting. He was in the restaurant business before he got to Citrix, and he was a manager of a restaurant, and that's what they used. They used video to tell how they made the dishes that they were serving. And they used to get tons of people watching those videos because they went through step by step. So then people could even try to do it at home. And so, Jill, you're a big knitter. You could show people how to knit and make a vlog about knitting if you wanted to. I mean, there's a lot of subject matter that can be covered in this. And a lot of people, YouTube is now being utilized as a research source. It's the second largest search engine on the internet behind Google. And a lot of people go there. I know I do all the time. If there's something that I'm running into trouble, I go there and use it as a source, and I type into YouTube, trying to fix my car or whatever it might be. And people are out there making videos about this kind of stuff. So we never want to forget nonprofits. Nonprofits, it's a great way to tell your story. It's a great way to highlight, donors. It's a great way to highlight all the great things that you might be doing with the monies that you're bringing in.
Or volunteers or events that you're having. I think
exactly.
For like nonprofits, the video, anything you could video is pretty much endless. There's so much that most nonprofits do that people are interested in that it would make great topics for a blog.
Yeah, and it makes it more appealing for someone to give money if they actually know what's happening with that money. Mm-hmm. We never want to forget the CEO or the owner of a business. They can tell the story probably better than than anyone. We're
Yeah.
actually going to be getting Janine on video very soon, talking to our customers because we want to know what's going on in the marketplace, and I think it's a great way to leverage her and connect it back to the business. Like we already talked about restaurants, small business owner, and many, many more. I mean, there's just endless numbers of people that could start a blog. So I'm going to give you a little bit of inspiration that I had from some different people. We're just going to go around the horn here. Wine Library TV, a gentleman by the name of Gary Vaynerchuk started this. He did 1,000 videos before he stopped. And all he was doing was he would do a little entertainment up in front, and he was just reviewing wine because his company that his family owns is Wine Library in New Jersey. And so he started just saying, hey, I'm going to take wines. They weren't always the expensive ones. It was something maybe they had a little surplus of. And he would do he would do a review right there on camera. Then he started bringing in guests, to share the experience. And he actually built a whole social media business out of this Wine Library TV. Next to him is Robert Scoble. He works for Rackspace. He actually used to work for Microsoft and used to do interviews of companies. He would, new technology that was coming out, he would get the CEO or owner or co-founder, and he would just do interviews of them. One of the cool things I think Robert does is because he never wants to mess up on a name. When he's doing an interview, instead of trying to get their name and the company, he always starts off an interview and says, so, who are you? And then they say their name and what company they're with in the background, so he never has to mess up on their name. Below him is Will It Blend, Blendtech, a great blender company, started this awesome vlog about Will It Blend, and they have put everything in that blender. You can see right there on the picture, they're putting a Nike Air into it. They've put an iPod, they've put an iPad, they've put everything you can imagine. That rake in the background, the handle went through the blender. And it's funny. It tells their story. It says they have great blenders, and again, they have endless things that they can put into that blender and try to mess up. Next to him is Chris Perillo. He's a consultant. He is a genuine geek, but he has a great show where he just invites people to come in and ask questions about their computer, whether it's Mac-based or PC-based, and then he helps them online. He does a Ustream live chat where he just takes questions, and he has built a huge business out of this vlog. It's amazing what you can do with this. So let's talk about how we get started. Obviously, you want to pick a topic to cover, and it can be self-serving. I mean, it's not bad to talk about your own business, but if you can really think about it in a more imaginative way, like bringing maybe customer testimonials into it, where you're not just sitting there being your own, chest pounder, you can actually have your customers talking about what makes you so great. You can do reviews of your products. You can talk about the industry as a whole, if you feel uncomfortable just talking about your business. You really want to outline what the subject matter is going to be that you're going to be talking about. You don't want to just go into this blindly and just hope that you can kind of wing it. You need to have some kind of foundation of what you're going to talk about, and then come up with some questions, maybe features that you want to talk about of your product, or even like I was talking about before, if you're a real estate agent, you could talk about different parts of your neighborhood or your city that you want to cover and just do a walkabout. The cool thing about this is if you share it on some sites, let's say like on Facebook, if there is someone in there, you can tag that person, and then that starts to get a little, I don't want to say it gets viral, but it does proliferate into other networks that you may not have access to. And then you want to obviously make sure that you have the right equipment. The great thing about vlogging today compared to even 5 years ago is the equipment is so much more inexpensive than it used to be, and it's so much easier to actually use. And so we're going to kind of go through that next of what do you need. Obviously, the first thing you need to think about is the camera. And I've given you 3 different options here. Poor Kodak, they kind of got on the digital aspect a little late, so I don't know. I think they're still in chapter 13, but their product is still floating out there on eBay, and there's actually some new product out there, and it's a great product. The PlayTouch ZI-10 is just easy to use. The reason that I really like this is it has an external microphone jack. So you can put like a lavalier mic on that and you can get much better sound, because you're going to realize why sound is so important when I talk a little bit later. A camera that I used to use a lot was the Flip Video Mino HD. Again, you can still find them new on eBay. Flip, the poor company, got bought by Cisco and then went away. Which,
I have a Flip video camera though.
Yeah, they're great.
Yep.
They're so easy to use. You got a big red button and you just
Yep.
push it and there it goes. But what a lot of people don't understand is they may have like a nice CyberShot, a Sony camera. That also takes video. Now again, the audio kind of quality comes into play here because there's not an external jack to pick up that. So, but if you're doing something where you're like in this environment, we're in a room here that's pretty soundproof, you could do this if you're shooting yourself, and then have that, not have to actually go out and buy another camera. So just some options there. Some other tools that you need to think about are software. If you have a Mac, the standard Mountain Lion or Lion OS comes with iMovie on it. It's a little challenging to use right out of the box, but it is. They have a lot of tutorial videos in there that you can easily follow, and a lot of people use iMovie now if they're Mac-based. One that I actually started with back in the day was Movie Maker. It's now Windows Live Movie Maker, which comes standard on your PC. That is a little bit easier to use, in my opinion. You just kind of slap your videos in there, and you can do some very simple editing. If you want to get a little bit more advanced, you can roll up into something like Camtasia. Camtasia is great because it's not only a software to use for shooting video on external cameras, but you can also do screencasts from it too. So it's a little bit more multi-purpose in case you're going to be doing something like a PowerPoint where you want to highlight that. Some other accessories that you might want to think about is obviously a tripod. Joby is great. They make these Gorilla Pods that are about $20, and they just easily snap into the bottom of your camera, and then it holds it still. Because again, I'll talk about this in a little bit, but having still video is very, very important. You don't want to make your audience sick. And then getting a tie clip mic, a lavalier mic, or even an external handheld mic is very important. Again, here's a Sony tie clip for about $20. And then lighting. Also, if you are going to be doing any kind of interviewing, you want to have light where people can really see the person well, because it's just a psychological thing. Even though they're only listening really, but they want to make sure that they can see that person too and their different facial expressions. So here's one that fits on the Flip from Alzo that's only $70. Another thing we need to pay close attention to is, if you guys have ever seen Talladega Nights, I couldn't even say that.
Nope.
Ricky Bobby, he's doing an interview and he just doesn't know what to do with his hands. They just slowly rise up. That's my little attempt at humor, but if you see that movie, you'll totally get this. Things we do need to pay close attention to is avoid the shakes. Again, if you are doing an interview on, an individual, or you're trying to focus on some kind of subject matter, just get one of those Joby Gorilla Pods, because you can attach that thing to almost anything. It will wrap around poles. You can just put it on a table, and you're going to have nice still video. You don't want to make your audience sick. Nothing makes an audience leave quicker than shaky video. Another must is good sound, and this is why I was saying something like the Kodak ZI-10 is a little bit better in my opinion than like a Flip, because you can put that external mic in there and you can get that crisp sound. I've even done videos where you just can hardly hear maybe a background noise or what may, the environment might bring, and it's just people get so upset because they want to listen to the content but they can't hear it. And then longer is not always better. Just like the hot dog. If the bun is your audience and you're providing them this long hot dog, they may leave before they get finished. So the rule of thumb is try to keep it around 2 to 3 minutes. We live in an ADD world.
Yes, we do.
And people just want to get to the point as quickly as possible. There's some things that you just can't avoid, like even this screencast. I can't shove this into 2 or 3 minutes. And someone may watch this whole thing because they're really interested, but if you're doing something, just try to keep it as short as possible.
And when I do the videos for our help site, for example, I keep the same thing in mind. The videos, I usually break them down into smaller chunks of what I'm going to be talking about, and I try to keep them between 1 and 2 minutes so that people can get exactly what they need and then move on with their day. So I think that's
a great point,
tip.
Jill, because that's what Jill does really well is she chapters out a subject, and so if you only want to talk about the equipment, you could go right to the equipment part of this and just get that instead of having to sit through the whole thing. So where do you put your videos? I'm just talking about the big three, YouTube, Vimeo, and Vidler. YouTube, like I said before, second largest search engine on the internet. I don't know what the exact numbers are, but it's the amount of minutes that people spend on YouTube is absolutely crazy. But the great thing is people, like I said, are starting to use YouTube as a search engine. They're getting smarter in the way that they try to find information. So if you have subject matter that would be relevant to an audience, I can guarantee you some of that audience is actually searching in YouTube for that. And it's really easy to put it up in there. It's free. Google, they may be bad in some aspects, but they do a lot of things for free. And so since they are owned, YouTube is owned by Google, that is a free service. Now, Vimeo, there's two sides to Vimeo. Vimeo is kind of like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. There is a free side of Vimeo, which is an open community. A lot of people that are like in bands, doing documentaries, put all that in there. If you're on the free side, there is no commercial content allowed on that side.
Which is why we can't use that.
Exactly. And so we don't use Vimeo. Now there is a business side, but it's just a hosting side. It's not really a searchable kind of indexed video platform on that side. That's $199 a year, but that's only if you're hosting it and you just need a hosting source. It's a good hosting source because a lot of people use Vimeo for that. Now, one that we use, and Jill uses for all of our videos, is Vidler. We use Vidler and YouTube in combination. We used to not use YouTube because they used to have a limit on it to 10 minutes. And a lot of our stuff was obviously longer than that.
Right. We had to put our webinars somewhere, and they're longer than 10 minutes, so YouTube was out.
And so Vidler for the basic account is $50 a month. But the great thing is people not only use it as a hosting site, but it's also searchable. So people find a lot of our stuff, and we get a lot of our traffic.
Yeah, I would say about a quarter of the views that we have on our recorded videos and the demos that I do, or the recorded videos and recorded webinars, sorry, that we have on Vidler, probably a quarter of the views actually come from the Vidler audience. So it's people who don't even know who Vertical Response is, and they're finding us in Vidler, which is great.
Yeah, and there's no downfall to using both of those sources. We're actually trying to, as a company, Jill and I are really working on this of trying to increase our video traffic, and we're using YouTube and Vidler in conjunction with one another. So it's not like the regular kind of SEO world where you may have a blog post that's in two places and that actually hurts you. Having video content in both places does not hurt you.
No.
And I also want to talk about some screencast software. So like just what we're doing here, where we're capturing all the stuff that's happening on the screen. Here's some easy services: Jing by TechSmith, Screener, and then ScreenFlow, which
I use.
Yeah, this is what Jill uses.
Yeah, I like ScreenFlow. Honestly, I didn't really do a search for this. The person who did this job before me was using ScreenFlow, but I find it so amazingly intuitive. It works exactly the way you think it should work.
Yep. And
it's super easy to edit. You can add easy transitions, like if you need to go from one screen to another, you can add transitions super easy. It's just the easiest thing, and I think it was like $100.
Yeah.
$100 for my Mac. Probably the best $100 we've spent. I use it all the time. Love it.
There's some easy to use screencast softwares. And then I want to obviously give you guys some resources. Some of this is some of those inspiration vlogs that I was sharing with you. And then obviously YouTube. YouTube has a great source down here. It's the third from the bottom. If you go to youtube.com/create, they just give you a lot of great free and paid resources to use in making your videos just a great little things. And then obviously we give you some information on Vidler and Vimeo.
I think the nice thing that you can do with YouTube now is that you can have your own branded page so that when people hit your YouTube page, they'll still be seeing your brand for whatever it is that you're doing, and they'll know that they're at the right place, and then they'll know the videos that you have there are related to your business. I think that's a really nice thing that they have.
Yeah, that's what Jill was working on that.
I was.
She revamped our channel, our YouTube channel, and now it looks and feels like Vertical Response, and then all that content in there, like Jill was saying, they know that it's from us, and it's going to help these small businesses that are there.
Yeah, so we're going to leave this up while we do Q&A. So if you have questions, again, go ahead and type that into the GoToWebinar box that you see there. Just a couple things. I'm sure somebody's asking this because I can't see your questions yet, but this was recorded. It will be up on our resources page at verticalresponse.com. So just go to our webpage, click the resources tab, and you'll see the recorded webinars. That'll be up there next week. And I have a question for you before I get into the questions from our
Jill, I would
customers. So how often would you suggest people vlog?
Well, I've seen it in all the gamuts. I've seen some people vlog every single day.
Oh my gosh.
Which is amazing.
That seems like a lot of work.
And then I've seen other people that do it on a weekly basis, and then others just when it kind of the inspiration.
So do you think it should be something like writing a blog, that it should be on a regular basis just as often as you would normally write your blog?
Exactly. I think it should be in kind of tandem. If that's all you're doing is just vlogging, then, like here at Vertical Response, we do anywhere from 3 to 5 blog posts a week. But we have a lot of us writing content.
Right.
Normal single person probably couldn't do that. The great thing I like about vlogging is that it seems to go a lot quicker than having to sit down and actually write something and make sure that it's all, grammatically correct and that it makes sense.
Yeah.
Vlogs are just kind of easy, so they are much easier to do than a regular blog post. I usually go out, like I do a vlog here at Vertical Response called Small Biz Social Secrets, and I go around to different conferences that I'm at, and I just take my camera with me, and then if I see someone that I think is interesting, I just have a conversation with them, and then I hold all that. I still have probably 20 or 30 videos in the hopper that I just keep, and then I release them whenever I need new content.
If you guys want to see those, that's on our blog.
Yes.
blog.verticalresponse.com.
Just type in Small Biz Social Secrets, and there's some great videos up there.
Yeah, there's a bunch of them in there. So if you want to get some inspiration on our own blog on how Derek's done some vlogging, you can see that. So let's go ahead and see what questions we have here. Whoops. Can you put up the tie clip product and light product again? Sure, hold on just a second. Let me go back. Okay. There you go. So those are the accessories that Derek was talking about. The Joby GorillaPod, the Sony ECM CS3
tie clip mic.
tie clip mic.
And the video light for Flip by Auzo.
What mic do you use?
I have a Sony, it's a Bluetooth lavalier mic. I have a much nicer camera because we wanted it to do a little bit more high quality. So I not only take it with a higher level camera, but I also I edit it a lot more than most people would. That's a thing that people get scared about. They think, I don't want to put this out there because it just looks kind of amateurish. I can't talk, amateurish. But if you go through YouTube at any time, you see a lot of stuff. If it's good content, people will watch it.
Be more forgiving.
Yeah. As long as you kind of get around those aspects of sound and shaky video, most people will watch it even if it's not the most polished thing in the world. So just kind of remember that. Don't be scared of the video.
Yeah, I know for a lot of the presentations that I've done in different places, the lavalier mics are pretty nice, but those have to be pretty expensive, more than the tie clip.
Yeah, they do have much more expensive ones, but you can literally go to Radio Shack and spend $20 or $30 and get one that will work fine.
Yeah.
Just like if I was interviewing you, I
Right.
could just pop you in there.
I'm really loud. I don't need a
No,
microphone.
you don't. We could just get away with a flip with you.
Yes.
So.
Basic question, steps to get sound behind PowerPoint. That's a great question, and actually that is what, let me get this back here. That's where this comes in, using the Screencast software, because, well, I do have an upgraded version of PowerPoint, so who knows what it does now. I don't know. I just got this computer yesterday, but PowerPoint doesn't really have any way of doing that. So that's why you would need something like one of these types of software products that can record your screen. So you can have your PowerPoint running, you can have a microphone or use the microphone that's built into your computer if you're loud like me, and then it puts them together. So I use ScreenFlow, and that's what we're using right now. So you're looking at a PowerPoint, and the ScreenFlow product that I'm using is recording my screen and recording our voices at the same time. And so I can go in and do some edits, and then it exports it as a .mov file, and that can be played just about anywhere and uploaded just about anywhere, and then it's all put together. But you're going to need something like this. I mean, you don't have to use these. You know, you can do your own research and see if there's something that you like better. But you'll need to use something like this to get sound behind your PowerPoint.
Yeah, these are just three of the more popular ones
Yeah.
that I know out there. I use actually Camtasia, and the reason I like Camtasia, and I don't know if ScreenFlow does this because I've never used it, is if you are doing a PowerPoint, you can actually on the back end is you can edit and you can work with the movement of your cursor. So let's say I go up
ScreenFlow
to,
does that.
yeah, so if I go to a certain point where I want to really highlight that, is I can bring that up and focus in on something that I want people to really pay attention to. So it gives you a lot of options to make it look more professional than it just would if you're just kind of doing it on the fly.
Can you please explain the difference between a hosting and searchable mediums?
So a hosting, something like Vimeo, if you're using the business side of Vimeo, it is for hosting only. People can't go in there and actually search the content. So there's not a big search box on there for them to go and say, I want to find out about, San Francisco. And a searchable like YouTube or Vidler, there's a big search box on the top, and then they can put in a certain key phrase or a key word that they're looking for. And then any videos that are tagged with that content in the video, because you can tag a video just like you can on a regular blog post. That'll pop up in the search results. So that's why it's good to have it. If you are hosting it, like say on a Vimeo, it's still good to put it out there on
YouTube.
Like a YouTube,
Yeah.
because you want people to find that content.
Yeah. Is there a place, okay, hold on. Is there a place where there is some kind of online class to provide people with advice for how to talk on a video and look good and natural? I can't tell you that specifically, but what I can tell you is that there are usually people anywhere that hold classes on how to speak, usually how to speak in front of an audience for whatever reason you're speaking in front of an audience. And those are usually in person. I don't know that they do those online so much.
There are some out there. They're usually they run. I've seen them anywhere from $40 to $150 for a couple of session classes.
Yeah. If you think this is something that you're going to do, I think that's probably, especially if you do any kind of presentations ever, I think they're a good investment. I myself have gone. You may not be able to tell right now, but I have, and actually they do teach you some really helpful things to help you, where you should put your frame of mind, what to do with your hands when you're doing a presentation. They talk about that, and the class I took also did a lot of how to speak when you're sitting, like I am right now, or if you're holding a meeting or something like that. So I think
how to get around like the ums and the ands and the...
Exactly. I do say a lot. Sometimes though, because I know what I'm talking about, I say intentionally so that I don't sound like a big old know-it-all.
Yeah.
That's me. Anyway, all I can really say is that you can probably do a search for speaking classes in your area or online speaking classes, and just take a look and see if you can find something that you're really looking for. Okay, I'm a bit overwhelmed by starting out vlogging. What's the learning curve with me feeling comfortable with vlogging, do you think?
My advice to that, or my answer to that, would be you just have to step into the world. A lot of people overanalyze, like I was talking about what am I going to look like on camera if you're doing, a self shot, or, oh, the production level is going to be lower than I want to. And a lot of people overanalyze it, and then they never end up actually doing it. You just need to put some videos out there and start to see what kind of movement you can have. I saw another question that had popped up there talking about, what kind of persona should I take? Should I take a comedic one or something like that? I say be yourself, because especially if you're in a small business, you may run into someone that's watching that video someday, and you don't want to have this persona that you are not like when they meet you in real life. Mm-hmm. And so I would just say be yourself and talk about something that you're passionate about. And if that's your own business, great. And just let that come out in the video. People will relate to that. It's much easier to relate to someone on video than it is if you're reading someone's blog post.
Do you typically post a short article or intro to go with the vlog, or do you just post the video?
I have done both. I did a project back in 2009 called 100 Interviews, where I interviewed 100 technology and social media people over a 4-day period. And all I did was just throw the videos up because I was so tired after doing interviews all day that I didn't want to do anything like that. With our series that we're doing now, our Small Biz Social Secrets, I do a little intro because I want to tell about the person that I am actually doing the interview with. Because you have that little piece up in front where you say, hey, who are you? And what do you do? And who do you work for? But I like to kind of spell that out a little bit more. So I usually do like a paragraph or two before the video, just as a setup.
What camera do you use?
I have a...
You knew that was coming, right?
I have a Sony CRX 700C, which is it's a video camera only, and it's not a handheld per se. I mean, you can hold it in your hand, but it really works better on a tripod. It's not as big as the professional ones, but it's not as small as like a Flip or a Kodak ZI-10.
And how do you feel about PowerPoint vlogs? Do you think that would be an effective vlog?
It depends on the subject matter that you're talking about. I think if it's something that's not very interesting, you can lose people in a PowerPoint. Mm-hmm. And if that's, the whole reason behind a vlog is to get personality into it. Yeah. And I think, something that we're doing here, we can still bring a little personality, but at the end of the day, I want to see what that person's like. I want to see their mannerisms. I want to see how they carry themselves. That's going to get me excited to make a connection, not only to you, but hopefully to your business and whatever else you're talking about.
Yeah, and we talk about this a lot when we're talking about writing for blogs. So in our copywriting webinars we've done, and also just in email marketing, your recipients of whatever medium you're talking to them through like to know what's going on behind the scenes. They want to know the people who are running the business, the people who are working there. So that's why we often tell you to include images of your employees or of yourself in your emails, because people feel a connection. It is people buying from people, and if they know the people behind the business, they'll feel more of a connection to what you're doing and want to have more interaction with you.
This is kind of like what Starbucks does, to try to remember people's names that come in there all the time, and try to make that human connection. Right. It's the same thing that you're trying to do in video. You're trying to say, I'm Joe, you're Mary, I want you to get to know me on another level.
So this kind of leads into this question. How much time should I spend on my set? Is it really more about the lighting and the sound? And I think in the content.
Yeah, I think obviously the content is number one. You have to talk about something that people want to watch. Yeah. If you're talking about, I don't know, boring stuff, people are going to get bored. Mm-hmm. So try to pick something that someone, whether it is someone that might be just interested in that particular subject matter, or new clients that you're trying to bring in. It's got to be interesting subject matter. Then I would say if I had to pick a second one, I would say probably sound. That's probably where I hear the most kind of discussion is I can't hear what the person's talking about. If they can't hear you, they're going to turn you off really quickly. And then obviously that shaky video, it irritates a lot of people, and they just, a lot of people get sick very quickly when they're watching a jumpy video. So if you can kind of keep to those three and really kind of keep it tight on those aspects, I think you're doing pretty good.
We're trying to create a YouTube channel for one of our political candidates, and we're stymied on getting the logo up to brand it. What resources can you refer me to? I didn't find a big problem. There is like an admin page when you've set up your
channel itself.
And maybe you're not at your channel, on your channel page, or you haven't logged in for that page, I'm not sure. But once you're logged in and you're on your actual page, there's an admin link where you can go and do all kinds of edits to the page. And one of the options is uploading a logo or uploading like a wrap that kind of goes around the content.
And I might be wrong on this, but I know they used to have it, but YouTube actually used to have videos about their own system.
They probably
So if you go into the search engine and you type one of those questions in there, I bet there's something that will help you actually put that out there.
Yeah, but I'm thinking if you can't see a way of doing that you haven't logged in under that username and password for that particular account.
Right.
That's my guess.
If you're not seeing it at all, then that's probably the case. But if you're just having trouble finding where it is within the admin tool, I would just do a little research on that.
Can you send either the presentation or the brands listed for third parties in all the various aspects? Well, this has been recorded, and like I said, this will be up on our website, the recorded version. So if there's a certain brand that you're looking for that's in these slides, you can find out some more information. And as I said, there we go. On the resources page, we also have links for
I don't have Jing or Springer or ScreenFlow in there, but if you just type that into Google, it'll take you right to those pages.
I think it's all theirname.com. That's pretty much how you do it for those things. I think we can take one more question and then we'll wrap this up. Do you need to get permission from people before you put them on your vlog? I've had some people shy away due to privacy or other reasons.
You really should. There are simple forms out there that you can find on the web that are actually just release forms. If you're going to, be doing a lot of recordings, like say interviews and whatnot. I usually don't have a problem if it's a friend, but if it's someone that I'm just interviewing that I don't really know, I do get a release from them just because I don't want to run into any problems down the road. It may not come back to bite you, but it's better to be safe than sorry.
For sure. Yeah, and with the way the internet is these days, those kind of things come around pretty quick. People find themselves online pretty fast. So if you do post a video without someone's permission, you'll find out pretty quickly, I think.
Yes.
So with that, I think we're going to wrap this up.